Hello there folks, my name is Spoonks and I saw Supergirl and I didn't like it. Now I was actually really looking forward to this movie. I thought the DC universe was actually picking up some steam. I've been loving what they've been putting out thus far. Superman, that last season of Peacemaker were really solid in my eyes, and the movie itself didn't look too bad. I thought the trailers looked promising, and I was curious to see how the DC universe would continue without, Superman or James Gunn at the director's chair. So yeah, I was pretty curious to see this movie and where it would take this franchise, but unfortunately it just did not live up to my expectations. This was a pretty big disappointment for me. Starting with my positives, I actually liked how they handled the origin of Kara, everything taking place in Krypton, all the flashbacks. That was actually executed very well, and the emotional beats felt earned and earnest, and it actually made me invested in exploring more about the character of Kara and how she became the way she was. So that stuff was really well handled. And also Millie Alcock was excellent as Supergirl. She brings the energy, the spunk, the attitude, and makes the character really interesting. She really does make the movie more bearable than it actually is. Same goes for Lobo. For the short time he's in the movie, Jason Momoa, as always, brings the energy and the fun, and again, for the short amount of time he's there, he definitely brings the humor and the fun that the movie was really needed. Honestly, I think the movie would have been more beneficial if it was just a buddy comedy between these two characters. And unfortunately, that's pretty much all I got for my positives here. The rest of the movie just really let me down. The story is just really lackluster and uninteresting and just too familiar in terms of the superhero genre. What could have easily been DC's John Wick, as the setup is that Crypto gets literally shot down with a deadly disease, so now Kara has to search the galaxy for a cure. And that actually really caught my eye, and thinking, okay, this could lead to somewhere, but instead it just turns into a typical generic superhero movie. It follows the same beats, and despite traveling the galaxy, it really feels a bit smaller in scale. We don't really get the sense of journey or the grand scale of everything. It just really feels really contained and, again, small scale, as we've been through these locations and planets and seen these cast of characters a bajillion times before in these movies, so it doesn't feel unique or fresh. And again, it follows the same story beats and scenarios that those other superhero movies follow. And what's worse is the pacing. This movie goes by way too fast, not in the sense okay, we're not giving much time for any of these characters, we'll just keep going, but it just felt like a lot of this was chopped down and really cut in the editing bay. It felt like they trimmed a lot of the fat that would probably added a bit more substance to this movie. It really felt like they were gunning for this to just be okay, we have to get this under 2 hours. We can't have this too long, but not too short. Make it at least an hour and 45, and you can really tell that a lot of again, the meatier substance of this movie was taken out entirely from this movie, as you can really feel that the pacing, again, is just really bad here, and the characters as well are just not that interesting or memorable. Yeah, the actors, Jason Momoa and Millie Alcock, do their best with the material, but the characters are still written pretty poorly. Again, it's really the performances that make the characters here, and Lobo's case especially, he just feels shoehorned in. He honestly felt like he didn't need to be in the movie, and James Gunn or somebody just owed him a favor and got him to be in the movie just cause. I mean, I appreciate it because he added something else to the movie, but then again, I would have appreciated it more if it felt like he was actually crucial to the story, which he doesn't. And as for the rest of the cast, they're not really that special. I found the girl that tags along with Supergirl to just be really bland and uninteresting. She just wasn't well written, and I just didn't really care for the character, honestly. And the villain is even worse. He's just typical supervillain, if you know what I mean. God bless the actors. They're doing the best that they can, but the villain needed a lot of work. And then there's the rest of the characters that the duo meets up with throughout the movie, and they're even more unremarkable. Even the action sequences here weren't that good, which is shocking because that's typically an easy mark to please me with these superhero movies. They're typically the best thing about these movies, but here they just didn't leave much of an impression on me, honestly. They started to feel a bit samey after a while, and nothing was was really special or thrilling about the action sequences, and even the special effects looked a bit wonky and rushed, especially during the third act. The budget was running low, or the VFX artists were on crunch time, because some of the special effects, especially during the climax, were looking a bit rough. So yeah, I didn't really like this movie. I probably made it out worse than it actually is, because it didn't make me angry, it didn't really leave me bored, it didn't leave me frustrated, but it still wasn't worth the price of admission, especially after the highs that Superman last year set for this new universe. There was a lot more to be had here with this movie, outside of some good performances by Millie Alcock and Jason Momoa and some strong emotional moments with the backstory of Kara. I just found this to be a really dull and forgettable superhero movie due to unremarkable characters, some really bad action sequences, and not the best story. I can't really recommend this, even if you were as curious as I was when you saw the trailer. There's just not much here. I am still curious about the future of the DC universe, but if this is any indication of how some of the other projects are gonna go, I think they may need to do some rethinking and kind of plan this thing out a bit more, as to fine tune some of the problems here. Because again, this is just the second movie, and oh boy, that does not paint a pretty picture. So those were my thoughts on Supergirl. What did you all think of it? If you've seen it, did you like it? Did you hate it? Comment down below and let me know. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on all the social media links at the end of the video. And until next time, everyone, stay sharp.